guys, today in this video I'm going to be doing another Pretty Little Liars recap and reaction video for you guys. And this is actually going to be a recap and reaction for the season 6 premiere that just aired last night. It was just such a good premiere and good episode in general. I'm just so excited to do a recap and reaction video for you guys. But like I say in all of my previous Pretty Little Liars recap and reaction videos, if you guys don't want any spoilers and you aren't caught up with the new season or the season 6 premiere, then go ahead and click off this video because I will be giving a ton of spoilers in this video. So let's go ahead and jump into last night's episode. So this episode starts off and we see a blonde girl and she's inside of what looks like a prison or a dungeon, and there's writing all over the walls, and it's been like she's been counting down the days since she's been in this little prison. And when they first flashed this girl on screen, I instantly was like, who is that? Is that Cece? Is that Allison? Is that Mona in the wig? I have absolutely no idea who this blonde girl is. So then it flashes to where the season 5 finale left off, and all of the girls are outside. They just escaped from Charles, or we still don't know who the crap this person is. So then the girls start talking and they're realizing they are stuck here. They have no idea what they're gonna do. And Spencer starts saying something about how she felt like Charles was familiar to her, like a long lost cousin or somebody you knew when you were younger. So I think that's kind of hinting at the fact that maybe Spencer is related to this person. Maybe it is a cousin of Spencer, maybe it is somebody that she knew when she was younger, but I will get into all of my theories for what I think is going on at the end of this video, so stay tuned to the end if you guys want to hear my theories. So it just shows the girls outside of this dollhouse for a few days. They're talking about how long you can go without food and water, and it just shows them like curled up and it's raining and they're just completely miserable. And then a few days pass and then it shows the dollhouse doors opening and the little PA system comes on to tell the girls to come back inside and follow the blinking lights. And as soon as the girls walk in, all of a sudden this gas explodes and goes all over the place, and then you see Charles, or coming up behind Mona and putting a gas mask on her, and he drags her away and then leaves all the other girls to just be stuck in this crazy gas that is going on. And then it flashes to this scene that was so unbelievably creepy. Even just thinking about it gives me goosebumps right now. It's like, I didn't like it. But it flashes and it shows the girls and it looks like they're inside of a hospital, more specifically like they're inside of a morgue, and they all look like they're like dead bodies, and they're on this like little metal platform with the white sheets over them, looking like they're dead. And then all of a sudden Mona walks in and she's dressed up like a candy striper nurse person, and she's handing the girls water and like painkillers and all this stuff, and they're asking her, what is going on? How long have we been here? And then that little creepy voice comes on the PA system to tell the girls to go back into their rooms so they can get ready to get their surprises. And the girls go back into their rooms and it shows them all just getting slammed into their rooms, and then you can just hear each of the girls just like screaming in pain. So then we see something pop on the screen after we hear all of the girls screaming in like agony, and it pops up and it says 3 weeks later. And then it flashes to Allison's house, and we see the scene in front of Allison's house with a ton of reporters, and Ezra and Caleb are also standing outside the house, and it goes up to this woman reporter, and she's talking about how Andrew Campbell has taken the girls and everybody is on the lookout for Andrew Campbell. So now they are leading us to believe that Andrew is in fact Charles, and that he is and he is the one that has kidnapped the girls. So then Allison comes out and she's standing with her father, and she addresses this big crowd of reporters and just people outside of her house, and she's saying how she just wants to be left alone and she wants to just be with her family right now and deal with this on her own. And then she's pleading with Andrew to let go of her friends and to let them go and to let them come back home. So then it shows Allison going back inside of her house, and we see that Detective Tanner and the rest of the police are actually inside of Allison's house, and they're doing all this kind of like surveillance things, and they're trying to wait to see if Andrew, Charles, whoever the heck this person actually is going to contact Allison. And Allie ends up getting a blocked phone call, and the police are all saying, be quiet, nobody say a word. And Allie picks up the phone, and it's some creepy song that is playing over the phone call on speakerphone. So Allie is just trying to talk to and get him to say where he's at, if the girls are okay, don't hurt my friends, yada yada yada. So then the phone call ends and the cops realize that they tracked the call, and the call was actually coming from inside of Allison's house. So So the cops all are searching all around this house trying to find where the phone call came from. They lock Allie into a back room so she's away from everybody else, and the cops end up discovering that there is a masked person inside of Allie's room, and it's like got a pig mask on and all this stupid crap. So then they go back to find Allie, and Allie is actually gone from the room. She isn't there anymore. And then it flashes and it shows Allie, and she's running through the woods, running away from her house and the cops, and it shows her getting into a car, and Ezra and Caleb are actually driving. So it turns out that Allison, Ezra, Caleb, and also Toby, they came up with this plan to get Allison away from the cops and Detective Tanner to try and lure A to Allison, to lure them to where the girls are actually at. So then it flashes back to the girls inside of the dollhouse, and it shows them all coming out of their rooms from what appears to be like the 3-week period that they were inside their room supposedly being tortured by A, and they just look all distraught and just disheveled, and all of a sudden Arya comes out and she has chopped off hair and it's like got the pink stripes in it again, so apparently, you know, A just had some hair dye and some bleach chilling around in this house and did her hair up like it used to be in the first season when they would flash back, so she's got the pink stripes going on in her hair again. So then they hear on the PA system that comes over to tell them to go into Allison's bedroom to prepare for her arrival. So they walk into Allie's fake room inside of this dollhouse, and they notice that there are a bunch of new boxes on the bed. And as they're going through all the stuff, they realize that the stuff in the boxes is actually stuff that was in Allison's real bedroom. So A has obviously gone back to Allison's room and stolen a bunch of her personal belongings. So they're going through and they're unpacking these boxes, and Spencer pulls out a little toy inside of Allison's stuff, and it has the initial CD written on it. So we're led to believe that this is supposed to stand for Charles De Laurentiis. So then it shows Arya, and she's going through Allison's closet, putting away some of her stuff, and she just has this completely freaked out look on her face, and she calls Spencer over to look inside of the closet with her, and on the back of the closet wall it says, "He is going to kill me, M." And everybody's just like, dun dun dun. Then it flashes again and it shows that Allison is in the woods and she's just waiting for A to come and get her, and she hears this really creepy music playing that we've heard played a bunch of times in previous episodes, and she follows the sound of the music and it leads her to a parked car in the woods. She gets inside of the car and the car still has the keys in the ignition, so she turns on the car and she hears the GPS pop on, and it's actually giving her directions of some place to go. So then it flashes again and it shows Hannah sitting in her fake little dollhouse room, and she's looking at this paper that is talking about her mother that is on her bed. And the rest of the girls come into her room and they're all just talking about how they found these articles that A put in their room about their families and how they're losing hope that they're ever going to come home. And Spencer all of a sudden just has this look on her face like she has an idea, and she finds this little like Etch-a-Sketch in one of the boxes, and she's like, "Oh, you guys remember that I'm like the Etch-a-Sketch champion or something?" And she's like drawing something out on the Etch-a-Sketch, and it says, she flashes it to the girls and it says something like, "Charles is a De Laurentiis." And they're all just kind of like, "What? Charles De Laurentiis? Okay, girl." So then it flashes back to Allie and it shows her inside of the car, and the GPS all of a sudden turns off and it says that she's arrived at her destination. And she tries to get the car to start again and it won't start, so she pushes this like emergency button, and the button is actually A telling her to get out of the car and look into the trunk. So she gets out of the car, looks in the trunk, and then all of a sudden it flashes to Caleb and Ezra, and they're still tracking her inside of the car, following her, and they get there. Allison is not inside the car anymore, and all the doors are open, the trunk is open, and she is nowhere to be found. So they realize that Allison actually took off the GPS tracker that was on her foot because A made her change clothes, but she left the boots in a place on the ground that led them to believe she went running in a certain direction. So Caleb and Ezra just go running after Allison to try and find her in the woods. So then it flashes again to the girls, and it's showing them at night when all of the power goes out in the dollhouse, and they're coming up with this plan on how they're going to escape. And Emily finds something that is underneath a dresser, and it's this little crawl space that leads them into A's lair. So as soon as the girls break into A's lair, they get in there and they see that the cameras are on them, and Spencer looks straight into the camera and she says, "Game on, Charles." And she takes the movie projector that has the scene of the two little boys and Allison's mother kissing the baby, and she lights it on fire and she's like, "Game on, Charles. We are gonna burn all of your sentimental crap because you won't let us out of this place." Then it flashes again and it shows Allison in the woods, and she's come up to where she thinks the girls are at, but there's absolutely nothing there. And she is just standing there, and you can see it flashing back and forth between the scene with the girls in the dollhouse and then Allison standing right outside the dollhouse, and A is watching both things happen on the little screen, and he's going back and forth like, oh no, Allison's here, but then the girls are burning all my crap. Allison's here, the girls are burning all my crap. What the heck am I supposed to do? And then it shows A, and he just pulls this fire alarm, and all this water goes everywhere, and these sirens start going off. And then it flashes back to Allison and Ezra and Caleb in the woods, and they're thinking, A tricked them, nobody is here, we're gonna leave. And then all of a sudden Allison can hear the sirens going off, and they notice there's this like little part in the ground where smoke is coming up from the ground. So obviously they're like, oh my gosh, we think the girls are underneath the ground here and something's burning, we gotta find them, we gotta get them out. So then it flashes back to the girls in the dollhouse, and it's just on fire and everything is burning, and the girls are running around like crazy trying to find Mona. And this whole time Mona has just been like off on her own, locked in this like little hole of a dungeon in the bottom of the ground with ain't nobody around her, and she's been losing her damn mind, just sitting there rocking to herself, singing herself some lullabies and stuff. Poor Mona, I feel bad for Mona. And Ezra and Caleb and Allison start to hear their voices, and they come up to this like metal door that's in the woods coming up from underground. They hear the girls in there screaming to let them out, and they end up breaking down the door. And the girls all come running out, and they're all standing there, and there's this adorable moment with like Ezra and Caleb and Hannah and Arya, and they're all hugging, and Ezra looks at Arya and he just starts hugging her and kissing her, and he said, I thought I'd never see you again. And I was just like, oh my gosh, yes. It was just like hearts and like little puppies floating around. I was like, yes, Ezra and Arya, I love you. Oh, they're so cute. So then after the cute scene with all the couples and all of the love and cuteness going on, one of the cops goes back into the lair and to the dungeon, and then we see the blonde girl that was flashed at the beginning of the episode, and the cop is like slowly approaching this girl, and the cop is telling her like, I'm here to rescue you, you're safe now, what is your name? And the girl just looks up at her and she says, my name's Sarah. Sarah Harvey. And I literally was just like, who the heck is Sarah Harvey? And all the girls are just like, oh my god, that's Sarah Harvey. And I'm like, okay, can somebody please explain to me who the heck Sarah Harvey is, because I am missing something. Who is this chick? I don't remember this at all. And then it flashes to Emily, and she's saying how Sarah Harvey is the girl that went missing around the same time as Allison did Memorial Day weekend. So then after Emily explains who Sarah Harvey is, it shows her walking over to Allison, and they're having this conversation, and she's saying how grateful she is she did what she did to come find them. And then she looks at Allison and just says, who is Charles De Laurentiis? And Allison kind of just has this look on her face like, what? And then that is how this episode ends. So now on to my theories for what I think is going on. Honestly, at this point, they are trying really hard to make it look like Andrew Campbell, Mr. Sexy Pants, that he is supposedly and he is the one that took the girls, so they're trying to make it look like Charles is actually Andrew. But the fact that they are making it so blunt and obvious that they think that Andrew is the one that took the girls, that has made me just be like, nope, Andrew can't be related to this at all. He can't be A, he can't be Charles. That theory has to go out the window. I think it might be flipping the script on us again, and they might make Andrew be good. And I think the reason that Andrew is gone in this episode and nobody can find him is that maybe A took Andrew, and they're trying to frame him to make him look like the bad guy. I think maybe he is in some way trying to help the girls, and that's why he was showed with all the spy equipment, and why he would always happen to show up at times in the previous episodes, like out of nowhere, I'm here to help, yay, I'm sexy. So then there is still the theory that the two little twin boys in the video are Jason and Jason's twin. I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe when they showed Jason having the accident in the elevator a couple seasons back when he was with Emily in the elevator and it shut and he supposedly fell to his death, maybe Jason actually did die in that elevator, and the person that came out of it and we saw in the hospital could have been Charles, and it could have been Jason's twin, and maybe the good, sexy Jason has been dead this entire time, and Charles just like took over, and he's just been in Rosewood spying on everybody this whole time. Or maybe it was the good sexy Jason. I'm just gonna keep referring to him as like good sexy Jason, bad sexy Jason, good sexy Andrew, bad sexy Andrew. I'm ridiculous, I'm sorry y'all. But maybe good Jason actually didn't die in the elevator and he's been around this whole time, and Charles is actually still his twin, but he has just been undercover as creepy A Charles person, so we actually haven't seen his face be removed. But I don't know, I'm still set on the fact that Ren is gonna pop up and he is going to be Charles. I don't know why, I am just sticking to this Ren theory. Like, Ren has been around for the longest time since the first episode. He's always been around. He's had a fling with, he was with Spencer's sister, then he was with Spencer, then he was with Hannah, and parts of it would make him always look like the good guy, and we've only seen like quick flashes of him looking bad, but then they would never pick at it and they just kind of left it alone. And then all of a sudden he just completely disappeared, but yet we still hear of Ren all the time because supposedly Melissa is living with him and they're back together in London. I don't know. I'm still thinking Ren is connected and Ren is somehow behind the scenes and he's the bad guy and he might pop up and be Charles. That's just what I'm thinking. I think it's still Ren. That's my money is on Ren. If I got anything to bet money on, it's gonna be that it's Ren. I think. But I'm probably wrong. Because this show just confuses the living crap out of me. Let's get real here. I'm gonna be really irritated if I've watched this show for like 5-6 years, hoping to see this A as somebody we all recognize, and then Charles is just somebody we have no clue who it is. I'm gonna be so mad. That's gonna suck so bad if I don't recognize this Charles face at all. I'm gonna be like, this sucks. So hopefully when we finally see Charles unmasked, it is a face we all recognize and this craziness can be over and we can finally know who A is. So that is it for this recap and reactions video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and again, I would love if you guys could leave me your thoughts and theories in the comments below. I always love going through and reading them. You guys come up with such amazing theories, and right now, I need to hear some good theories because I'm still completely stumped on what is going on right now. So if you guys have any cool theories that you want to share with me, just leave those in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!